Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another Felt reaction. If you're wondering why my voice is a little bit lower than usual, it's because I am on a medically required vocal rest due to some issues I've got going on. You can read about that, but by the time this goes public, that post is probably about a month old, so good luck scrolling. Either way, I'm here to listen to Rendezvous, and all of my opinions will be the same, even with the vocal rest going on and me taking it a little bit more mellow. So without further ado, let's go! I love getting into Felt music and having not a single clue. I love not knowing what's gonna happen. It's always the best. Okay. Before I could realize the sun happening so suddenly. I'm loving the pop R&B energy of this already. It's giving early 2000s Utada Hikaru. Okay. Oh, this is a great progression too. God, it's giving such early 2000s R&B pop energy. I can't. Oh. I forget how much I miss this sound every time it comes around, dude. Jazz organ in there? God. That bass is... that slap, dude. This belongs on a radio station somewhere. I love that jazz organ. God, it's so tasty. I hate that I can't be excited right now without hurting myself. But that doesn't mean I can't dance. God. This is an amazing arrangement. Is that the end of it? Are we on the outro? We are. Okay. Leave that synth resonating to the end too. Oh, God, I hate that I can't be more excited right now. That's so good. E minor, my beloved, back at it yet again with another amazing song. I love this key so fucking much, purely because I said it a million times, the flexibility of this key is absolutely unmatched by anything else on earth, in my opinion. It is very simple, of course. I do love just the way it feels, like going in mostly this song, it's just bouncing between the C and the E minor. It actually kind of roots on the C, which is kind of strange given that it's E minor. Usually the root would be E minor, but hey, it's in both of the chords, so I guess that does count in a way, but also the emotion of this song doesn't really tend to move anywhere, which is very pop R&B funk soul of them to do, just keeping the whole song bouncing between these two chords, at least at large. There definitely is a movement up to a D that goes into the E minor, and it also does go up into the G, and I believe there's even a B minor in there. And it just kind of loops back around that way, but that's what makes this sort of song feel so emotional, so heavy, and why it hits so damn hard is because there is that room to grow, and they don't tend to, unless they really need to. There's a little bit of movement, like I said, with like the going up into the D and the E minor there, and then I do believe it goes like to the G, like I mentioned, but I believe that those are very minor moments, no pun intended, where that happens, and a lot of that exploration is kind of allocated to the other instruments going on here. A lot of like the jazz keyboard going on and just kind of doing little flavor things, you know, up in the higher end. So it's keeping things, of course, in the key while also exploring those other notes. I think that might be where the G is kind of happening in there. It's just moving the chords where they need to, but separating each note and making it feel more like a whistleless solo than anything else, keeping the song together that way. And the bass on this song, the bass is fucking bopping. I love when slap bass shows up. It's so fun to hear it. A lot of picking and plucking on this one too, but it really does have a hand with that slap going on there just to keep things constantly alive. It's really keeping the texture of the bass and the drums working together. Another thing I love about the song, obviously, the drums. I love beats in the R&B scene because they're simple, but they're extremely effective, especially when surrounded by this like very free-flowing sort of sensation that the rest of the instrumental gives. It feels so much more like they're an actual group, even though a lot of very popular pop R&B stuff, especially in the early 2000s and late 90s, was exactly that, just produced in somebody's home studio somewhere, and they made a song. There's this quality to it that feels great because they're using samples of actual instruments a lot of the time. So it's just a bunch of this hodgepodging and kit bashing of samples of people in the funk scene from years before and turning that into something new and just basically remixing something into a new beat. And that's why it feels so alive, because they are using samples of real people playing. Whereas I don't think that is the case for this one. The drums are probably sampled, and I'm sure that they're using VSTs in here. But what matters is the feel of how everything is played. Like, for example, the bass, I have a feeling that was probably recorded and it was actually done by somebody on the team for this song, just because it had that quality to it. I don't think I've heard a good slap bass VST out there. It's very possible there is one, but I don't think I've ever heard a bass that really feels like it's alive like this one when that is the case. They just tend to sound more robotic as kind of a rule. Even if you do adjust for that and try to make it sound a little bit more human, it tends to not quite hit the mark. And for this, there's just something about the flow of it all that feels so much more personal. So I have a feeling that at least the bass in here is recorded manually and is just somebody with their instrument. And that's what keeps this sort of genre feeling so authentic to itself. And even if they are using a VST, good on them for making it feel so fucking natural. That is so difficult to do. I've, again, very rarely heard a VST that sounds good, let alone a slap bass specifically. That is just not a tone that can be replicated easily in a program. So they nailed it with this, and whatever the case may be, sounds gorgeous. Love the mixing and mastering on this. It feels nostalgic and retro, like they weren't trying to go for a new age sort of modern sound with this like R&B. They really wanted it to sound like something from that like 90s 2000s window, even down to the mix. It's rare that people will do that and go that far to make the mix sound like it's something out of a prior generation instead of just conforming to the modern way of doing things, because that's fine. You can do the modern way, but at the same time, when you get a certain characteristic that you want to get out of it, a lot of that DNA does come from the mix itself and not even the song itself. So while this song has those vibes, it would have sounded completely different had they gone a more modern approach to the mix and master rather than this, which felt a little bit more like it had a vintage filter on it. So I have a feeling that they used a lot of tape synthesizers in here, especially for things like the bass in there, and probably ran like the drums and basically everything else, the vocals as well, through tape compressors and tube modelers just to be able to get that like fuzz in that song. It just feels so good because at the same time it's still very clean. It's not like they were recording to physical tape. It's still definitely a digital song, but it just feels so good. And with this whole quality of the chord progression that I mentioned earlier, it just feels like it was pulled straight out of 2003, and I adore that so much due to the qualities it has. But my throat is starting to get a little bit tired now, so I will end it here. Thank you all so very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want me to get to something else, by all means, drop in the comments below, and I will do my best as always to get to those. Or if, like Zyvor did for this one, you want to guarantee that I listen to something, you can always go to my Patreon or my YouTube memberships, or you can force me to listen to something. Doesn't matter who it's by, what it's from, if it's good or bad, none of that matters. That's why it's a guarantee. But if you don't want to do any of that and you just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, maybe when I have more vocal energy to offer, then you know how to do all that, and I will see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!